Hello and welcome to a special birthday edition of Word Mentality, celebrating the birthday of Ryan Quilty, who turns 40 on the 31st of October this year. Now, I want to tell you about where his name comes from and why he should be very happy to be turning 40 in 2020. First of all, his first name, Ryan. It actually was originally a surname, Ryan, an Irish surname, and that came from this old name, O'Ryan. O just means of, as in the son of, the male descendant of, usually. And if you break up this word, Ryan, you get an, which just means it's a diminutive suffix, so little, and Rye, which means king. So that's why you'll sometimes see Ryan explained as meaning little king or descendant of the king. Interestingly, in my lame research, I found that in Texas, it's common for Ryan to have the nickname of rail donkey. Now, I don't know what that means, whether it's rude or I don't know anything more about it, but I think we should start calling Ryan rail donkey or little king. I think they're both great. Quilty comes from also the Gaelic name O'Quilty, which again, O just means the descendant of somebody by this name here. Now this means somebody who was slender or slight. So we've got the little king who was slender or slight. Go with that or rail donkey, it's up to you. Now, Ryan's turning 40, and there's a saying, life begins at 40. Where does that saying come from? It comes from a self-help book written by this guy, Walter Pitkin, in 1932. It was the #1 bestseller in 1933, and that's how it started to become popular. It's been movies and songs ever since. In 1933, the life expectancy was 63 years. And the reason they started saying this idea of life begins at 40 was because suddenly you lived to 63. So, there was a lot of life ahead of you. Back before, in 1890, the life expectancy had been closer to 40. It had been 47 years. In Australia in 1950, the life expectancy had gone up to 68 years. And the year Ryan was born, the life expectancy was at 74 years. And today, the life expectancy in Australia is 83 and a half years. So you can see why it's very true to say life begins at 40. Now, the idea of that saying is that you've got a lot of life left ahead of you, and because of the time in which we live and modern medicine, there's no reason why you can't have a very long and fulfilling life from 40 onwards as long as you maintain a positive attitude. That was the advice from Walter Pitkin. Interestingly, in 1980, the year Ryan was born, there was a song called Life Begins at 40, written by none other than John Lennon. Now, he turned 40 that year. So he turned 40 the year Ryan was born, and so did Ringo Starr, and that's why he wrote the song. He never released it because, as we know, he was murdered by a deranged fan in 1980. So it was ironic that he wrote a song that year called Life Begins at 40, because it didn't for him. The song eventually came out in 1998. So, life begins at 40 as long as you don't have a deranged fan waiting outside your apartment block because you're one of the biggest stars in the world. I think we're safe, Ryan Quilty, and happy birthday.